Hello and welcome back to the Milltown Way podcast. I'm Ryan Brennan. I'm joined here as always by Adam Casey. We have a few bits to get into today, and so we'll start off with the defeat to Bohemians on Friday night. We'll also be looking at Derry City at home next Friday. We'll slightly touch on Shelbourne away as well. We won't have an episode in between the Derry City fixture and the Shelbourne fixture, and we'll also go over a couple of bits off the pitch, I suppose, with Michael Noonan situation and the League of Ireland, of course, reviewing the postponement complaint with the opener with Dundalk. But firstly, get
Uh,
start off on a negative note.
yeah, not where you want to start. Not where we were hoping to start off after the last episode.
Yeah, of course, that is Bohemians beating Shamrock Rovers on Friday evening. Led to quite an angry reception, maybe.
Yeah,
In some ways, of course, there were supporters that did remain until the final whistle, that remained until the players came over to kind of clap over the away end.
not
Um,
many though.
no, a lot. Once the third goal went in,
Yeah,
and it
it cleared
wasn't
out quite quickly.
Ross Tierney scored the third, and or did he score the third? He did score the third, and it
Mm.
was like what, a couple of minutes before stoppage time.
Yeah, there wasn't long to go. At that point, it was the 87th minute, so
Yeah,
you could
so
see why. But come on,
yeah,
your
it's
ticket
like,
gets you 90 minutes, as we've said before.
well, you see, the funny thing is there would have been a lot of people running back in had Rovers have gotten a third goal because it did give Bohs quite a scare. Um,
As well, they left and they probably weren't allowed to leave the stadium then.
yeah, literally, as the third goal went in, it was announced on the PA, all Shamrock Rovers supporters are to stay behind.
I
Blah blah
hate
blah.
that staying behind. When you lose on the way down, they're like, "Oh, I have to wait now here for 10 minutes."
And you're normally listening to some ridiculous songs that they
Yeah,
play on
but
it
yeah,
as
some
well.
good tunes to be fair. That's the only good thing about that place.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see the back of it.
Yeah,
But yeah, obviously Bows beat Shamrock Rovers 3-2 on Friday. Um,
wasn't a 3-2 game.
no, it wasn't. The result flattered Rovers really. I think it's probably a fair comment to say. Two late goals in stoppage time saved a little bit of face.
Hmm.
Both from Graham Burke and Aaron Green. Came out of nowhere, and we kind of said it at the time to each other was that, well, the two goals don't come if Bows are 3-0, if they're not
No,
3-0 up.
if Bows don't really kind of just take the foot off the gas and kind of just let.
Yeah, like if, for example, I think if Bows are 1-0 up, do you see Rovers scoring two late goals like that?
No,
No, it was because maybe Bows are switching at a moment of weakness, they're switching off and stuff like that. But as well as that, I think you also have to look at it in that, Rovers were giving it a bit more, but even it was just kind of too little too late, kind of.
that's it exactly. Too little, too late. It was the only they didn't have fight in them. It was just lackluster all around the whole game, and even I know they scored two goals, but they still wasn't as you've said. They would Rovers have got them if they weren't 3-0 down. No, probably not. It just as it said, it felt like they just switched off and they just didn't. Both didn't care particularly.
Like it's,
In their head, they already had the 3 points and they were heading
yeah.
home.
Well, that's it. Like, because even it was quite funny to watch if you're maybe a neutral that when it was 3-0 and Bows were singing, their supporters were singing, and then when Rovers scored the first one, they didn't stop singing. It didn't
No,
interrupt the flow. Um, and even
which is never a good thing.
yeah, and the response from the away supporters was kind of just an applause, really, more that they
Yeah,
scored a goal. But then when I went 3-2, that is silence Bows supporters. Rovers fans increased the volume, but it ended up not being enough, and
no.
yeah, overall left feeling quite disappointed how they showed up, or maybe the lack of showing up
Yeah,
on such a big game. And
I think it's more so that than the actual result. It's just weren't not threatening at all. Wasn't any moments in the game you were like Rovers want this more than but more than that Bows do really.
yeah,
It just didn't
it's
feel at any point like they were rearing to go or
I've seen a mixed online social media reaction of
okay.
Stephen Bradley kind of said moments
Yeah, exactly.
that decided the game. I would lean towards that. What now? When I say I lean towards it, it doesn't mean I'm also of the opinion that Rovers would have won the game, kind of thing.
Hmm.
I'm more like the second half. Bows definitely gained a lot more control of the game
Yeah.
overall, but and then they obviously in that time they got the penalty, which Dan Cleary probably lucky not to be get red carded for
Yeah,
that. Just inadvertently pushes. I think it's Ross Tierney darting into the box, pushes him over, and it's a penalty. And I remember saying to you at the time, because obviously you're just seeing it live, there's no replays or anything like that. That I wasn't sure if that was a penalty.
yeah.
I know there was you and a few others were saying that it was Stonewall
It's
nearly.
last man back. It's no matter what.
Yeah, it's
The referee usually will favor the defender in a situation like that. Not
yeah
sorry, favor
favor
the
the attacker.
attacker.
Yeah, um, yeah. So then when I saw the replay back, it did. I was surprised that he wasn't red carded because he was last man back, pushes Ross Tierney, and a penalty's given. There was had all the ingredients essentially to be a
Yeah.
red, and that would have made things a lot worse. But I suppose they didn't really. I suppose it did get a lot worse anyways. That it did end up going to 3-0.
Yep.
But like that, I think the first half was definitely quite even. No team really looked dominant in that first half.
No.
Rovers had the odd chance, the Adam Brennan attempt,
Yeah, that was.
and that
It
made the
was.
only effort that really made
Yeah.
Casper Tarasca work. In the first half, and anyways, they get a goal. Then Colm Wheel in the first half, finds quite a big pocket of space in between the centre backs, which is just again switching off
Yeah.
really.
Not being focused.
Uh, I don't know. I've just like, and I think a lot of Rovers supporters will probably share the same feeling as us of you can leave the game, and had Rovers a lost 3-1, 3-2, maybe not 3-0, but 3-1, 3-2, like they did lose 3-2, but if you left that ground thinking, but what an effort they put in, they committed so much forward, they chased down balls, they made opportunities for themselves, created space, created chances to
Yeah.
to work the keeper. I think you leave it going, fair enough then. But I think what made a lot of supporters angry is that you walk out of Dalymount Park and you're kind of saying Shamrock Rovers haven't shown up.
No, you're walking out and you're thinking they probably could have taken them if they had a like. Bohs weren't all that either. I know they won, but you realistically, yeah, I don't think you could. It's just a performance. You can't sit there in any capacity and say they showed up or they really looked like they wanted it. And I think that's all will always be more frustrating from a fan perspective that the team just doesn't look like they're that bothered, or that they just not that they're not bothered. It's just no matter what happened, it just didn't seem to click.
Yeah,
Everything that could have went wrong seemed to go wrong.
yeah. Particularly like in the lead up to the penalty, and it's like Rovers are trying to get a foothold in the game essentially, and from since the interval say, and they just couldn't. And Bohs just keep winning possession every second ball. It's falling their way. They're working McGinty. They're making our defensive line work. Simple things like that, and Rovers aren't getting forward. And when they do, they're not stringing more than 3-4
Yeah,
consecutive passes together. Subs struggle to make an impact really.
yeah. The substitutions didn't really seem to have much of a difference when they came on.
No, and that's like it's a slight concern. Look, at not taken away. We kept saying it last week and say it now is that it's very early in the season. Still is not
Yeah,
just because we played Bohs at Dalymount doesn't mean it's not early in the season. It is 100%. But when you play Bohs at Dalymount,
it's an
like
occasion. It's a big deal.
exactly, and like we said last week, these derbies are cup finals to both sides. Whether you
Yeah,
want to admit that or not, it is. It makes you, had Rovers left there with 3 points, it's nearly you'd nearly have a similar feeling to when Rovers won the cup in November. That kind of way, like
yeah, and
not
often
far off,
no,
really.
and often with teams well when they've kind of started the season slow. Sometimes you just they start a season slow and then you expect them. A derby or a big game can bring that out of them. Can be what gets the team to kind of what's the right word for it? Kind of bring them back to life. Kind of get that bit extra out of them that might have been lacking at the start. And we've mentioned before about how Rovers tend to start a season a bit slow, and having such a big derby away as well this early in the season, you thought maybe that might get them going and kick them into that second gear, but didn't seem to.
Yeah, it didn't seem to work, but like that, like 'cause, Rovers' first game of the season ended up being Pats at home and won 2-0.
Yeah,
Then you've the 1-1 draw with Dundalk and now a 3-2 defeat to Bohs. 4 points from a possible nine
yeah,
is below the standard, particularly when two of them are at home.
yeah. That's not what you
Um,
want.
Particularly like not in any way disrespecting Dundalk because they have challenge. Every game essentially apart from Friday where they lost 4-0 to
Yeah,
Pats at Richmond.
yeah,
Apart from that, they've been competitive in their games, no matter who they've faced. Um, Derry, when they face Derry and Drogheda as well, remain competitive in them, remain competitive with Rovers despite going down to 10 men. So when you look at the 4 points from a possible nine, not obviously where they want to be, but
no,
at the same time, it's like you're seeing the reoccurring traits. I thought, like, as I think, like we said to each other with that Pats game, that like essentially, yeah, the second half, the two goals came, and then it hit. It kind of the two goals gave Rovers a bit of rhythm then, but Rovers didn't look great
no. They
until
didn't.
then.
No, the first half they were Pats very easy could have taken a lead, or
And then particularly like that first few minutes of the second half, like
when they were,
that seems to
yeah,
be a little bit of a pattern at the minute. Start of the second half, the opposition tend to just get a foothold of the game, and
yeah. They seem to come out of yeah. Rovers seem to come out of the break just a little bit sluggish, nearly a little bit slow, and just
like
It was particularly on Friday, coming out after the second half, they were just second to every ball. There was a Bohs player getting something on everything they were running. Just felt like they had a lot more intensity and had a lot more about them, and particularly right after that second half started, they just couldn't get going. They were second to every ball. They just felt like no, just could not at any point just get going.
yeah, like even a couple of stats here just to that kind of replicates exactly our point. Rovers registered 5 shots in
Yeah,
the second half. 4 of them came in stoppage time.
yeah, that says it all. Yeah, that's yeah,
The other one being Roberto Lopez in the 52nd minute. All the rest 90 plus. Lopez again, Lopez again, Lopez again. Aaron Green. Um, but like that, it's just so frustrating, and particularly when it's like from an outside or like from an outside the club perspective, in the sense that when I say outside the club, of course, as in the management and the players outside
yeah,
of them. For a supporter point of perspective, it's like you get so hyped up all week for it.
yeah. It's a derby. It's a big derby as well. I
But
know we
it,
talk about Dublin derbies, but
yeah,
it's a
Bohs and
big
Rovers
one.
is
Yeah,
like
it's the
arguably the biggest one. Obviously, a bit biased probably in saying that,
yeah.
but
Oh, about the loud derby.
the loudest in the league. but like that, it's so kind of disappointing and it's disheartening that it's kind of like you get so hyped up, you get to the ground, you get game kicks off, it's loud, and then it's kind of like the players just haven't matched that. No, and I
Yeah,
didn't look at not to say personally they aren't, might just be that they're showing up on the pitch. Bows were better in parts and moments essentially, but like it didn't look like players were as up for it as the fans were.
no, not at any point. No, that's
Which if that's
that
if
should never be the opinion. That should never be the feeling coming out of a big game or any game really, but especially a big game. Just because we know, yeah, big game they're going to be that bit. Fans are going to be that bit more antsy and that bit more ready to go. But yeah, it was just lackluster all round, really.
yeah, like you, and the funny thing is like we're not normally overly negative on this podcast. I don't
No,
think. With whatever the occasion is, whatever the result is, I've genuinely thought that we normally will
find
find the
something a
positives in it.
positive, but
I'm struggling
I
to
don't think there
even
was any
and Rovers got two
positive.
late goals, and I'm still kind of saying,
Yeah,
yeah, they got
but
two late goals, but as we've said here, we've already touched on that. It's like they don't get them if Bohs aren't 3-0 up.
they don't get them if both just don't switch off and
Yeah,
just. I've already know they have 3 points. Like,
and but like both of the goals came from set pieces essentially,
yeah,
where it's kind of getting scrappy in the box. Now, obviously, look, had Rovers got another one, and it ended in a draw, it's a
Yeah, of
different
course.
perspective, it's a different outcome, it's a
But then
different
at least
mood
you would
from
have
the game.
something positive to talk about and something to cheer about at the game.
Yeah. Overall, I suppose maybe some positives were from the fans' perspective. Maybe I thought for spells, for a normal amount of spells, that for a 3-2 defeat, I suppose that the away end was quite loud.
Yeah, especially at the start of the game and the first half
Yeah,
when it was 0-0, the way end was very loud.
yeah, exactly, and that's what that's like. Look, when the team's 3-0 down, it's harder. It's a harder task to get the away end going, to make that noise. It's obviously a bit more understandable that the away end is quieter
Yeah,
when 3-0 down in a derby. And of course, you can give the argument of maybe should the away end always be allowed to support the team. But
you hope so,
it's
but
tough
it
to do
is
that.
tough when there's nothing to be kind of
Celebrating about.
celebrating or not. I hate to say proud of, but nothing to be particularly to do. Yeah, to have pride in, nothing to that you could sit there and say you're glad they done this or you are just happy that they done whatever they done. It's just yeah, there was nothing. There was very little to cheer about.
Yeah, and like as we've already said here, it's it is like that, and it's weird when you think, if you're to look from an out, if you didn't watch the game, if you didn't support either of the clubs, and you see 3-2, you think, well, that's an even balanced game, goals galore, but essentially it's not like that.
No,
Um, a
like if
couple
it
of
had been 2-2 and then there was a last minute winner,
Yeah,
you can make that argument. When you're 3-0 down
three nil down
until stoppage time,
to Bohs as well, 3-0 down, like
yeah,
that's just not, it's not acceptable, essentially, really. And like I we put out the social media post earlier. One of the opinions we got back was a lot of kind of criticism for Dan Cleary.
yeah,
Um,
that did seem common.
but yeah, like obviously he gives away the penalty. I think it's Colin Whelan who, for that first goal, I think it's Colin Whelan that gets past Dan Cleary
Yeah,
to kind of, that
for
leaves
the
that gap.
assist, yeah,
Um, and yeah, exactly, it causes the goal. But what I don't like to do is pick out or overly scrutinize players for their
singular
performance.
player. Like, was it his best performance in a row? Sure, definitely not far from it, but I don't think you can blame the whole loss on a single player.
Yeah, another comment we got in from Oisin McNevin was, not good enough for a derby away from home. We were bullied.
Yeah, you can definitely see that there was no, yeah, which adds back to the point of having nothing to cheer for. It just felt like Bohs were just pushing Rovers around. They were just doing exactly what they wanted with them.
Yeah, it's again, like, look, I don't. It's hard to be positive.
Yeah,
Is the first thing, you lose the Bows. It's not. It's a far cry from sunshine and rainbows. Um,
it's
but yeah,
yeah,
it is what it is.
there's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. But
We will touch on the next game a
a
little bit
bit
later in the
later,
episode
but
as well. But something needs to be done for that game, and
yeah,
it's not an easy game. Um, but I suppose the next thing we'll touch on, we'll move away from Rovers Dublin Derby defeat. Michael Noonan
yeah,
and his agents dominating the headlines, it seems, yet
yeah.
again.
We touched on this briefly in the last episode. Mentioned about the club statement and everything like that. It was mentioned briefly after the Dundalk match. You mentioned it in that episode, but there's been updates, so
Yeah,
back to it.
yeah, exactly. Well, this is it. The off the pitch noise around the club is it's getting a bit loud.
Yeah,
Pardon the pun, but
have to cover your ears.
um, yeah. So like essentially, like obviously, Noonan's family put in the complaint to the FA, who went to the FAI for
Yeah,
clarity. The FAI come to Rovers for clarity,
yeah.
to say what the whole situation is. Um,
And there was very limited information when we first covered this.
yeah, and there's still it's
Yeah, it's still
still
up in the air a little bit.
yeah, like we don't exactly know the ins and outs of who's being accused of what. Now, of course, the
Uh-huh.
agent um is is the one that's kind of under the microscope a little bit, David
Yeah,
Moss.
yeah,
Now I don't know again like that what's going on. Who knows what's going on essentially, or
yeah,
what they're being accused of. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation.
yeah.
It's not a good look for the club,
No, it's not. It's
particularly for a club that off the pitch noise doesn't tend to be that loud. Like
no,
it's
yeah,
been building up quite a bit now with
yeah,
Noonan, and we'll also touch on it as we said earlier about the League of Ireland reviewing the complaint about the opener being postponed with Dundalk. But from the Noonan perspective, yeah, it's a weird.
yeah.
What do you
And
make of it?
Stephen opted not to speak about it when asked about it after the game on Friday. He said speak to the club. So I want to know I wonder what he's like, how much information he even has. It's strange. Like two statements were issued only recently from an independent chairman. One on Monday and an updated version on Friday. But they're both similar in what they're saying, and it's just the exact wording they used and what they keep talking about is an agency agreements, which was then expanded to detailed contents of agency agreements. But that's very vague language.
Yeah,
We don't know what that is. Uh, like minutes of meetings are being thrown around now from all the way back in February of last year. It's just hard to know. Uh, I really yeah. It seems like it's being all of this is very purposely vague.
we see as well. Yeah, because initially the club came out to say that they found out about this situation in August of
Hmm.
2025, and it seemed like leaked board minutes came out that actually the club heard this in February 2025.
Yeah.
Um, the then CEO John Martin had already briefed the board on a potential figure for Noonan. I mentioned deductions and percentages due to an agent. I don't like this. Just it doesn't. Again, we. It's not as you said. It's quite vague language.
Yeah.
It's quite
Supposedly there was concerns that to do with the size of the portion of the fee that would be leaving the club's hands and going towards the agent.
the sort of how
The
much the
amount of
agent will be
money,
getting
yeah.
versus
How much the club, because that will come out of the club's
yeah.
bit. Because think if it's, let's just say it is Hoffenheim paying 2 million. They're paying 2 million. They're not paying the agent.
Mm.
That money comes out of what the club got.
Yeah.
It's not
So
tacked on. It's taken
it's
away more
withdrawn.
so.
Yeah, which is yeah. It all doesn't look good for the club in any ways. Is the main thing, and I think because obviously we remember Noonan, the news breaking that Noonan was in discussion with Hoffenheim, and he was in Celtic were interested as well and remain
Hmm.
interested as far as I'm aware. But like that, Rovers wanted a fee of closer to 2 million.
Yeah.
Hoffenheim seemed to be offering around 1.7, 1.8. They had agreed the fee.
Hmm. And then Noonan opted out.
The fee, sort of yeah. So Noonan and his family decided,
Yeah, not to move to
which
Germany at the moment.
now this is all I suppose
Reported.
yeah, it's all alleged essentially because there's nothing's been factual really in the sense that court findings or hearing
Yeah, there's
findings
been nothing conclusive yet, I suppose.
at the minute. Yeah, so at the minute it's all alleged from the club to the agent to the club, from the family to
Yeah,
the
it's all kind of a he said, she said at the moment.
yeah. So we don't exactly, and we won't. I don't think for a while. This is an issue that I would anticipate is going to run on for quite a bit. I don't
Hmm.
see it being something that's going to be resolved in the near
It does
future.
seem like there is tensions in the club over it. As mentioned, Bradley opted not to comment about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
4 times in a row when asked the question after Friday, he just said, speak to the club.
yeah. Which,
So
to be fair, that's I
it's not his job. A
yeah.
manager's job is to discuss the issues on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Like the manager's job is to manage like, what's taking place on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's man age.
But it's
um,
not. It's not up to. It should be the director of football, the CEO, whatever,
yeah, and like
discussing
obviously
damn issues.
the noise around it isn't going to have a positive impact on
No.
the team. And I do understand the perspective of people asking Stephen Bradley because they're the only one who they can speak to.
Yeah, he's the front facing man. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's not a case of CEOs are coming out every week of issues around the club or anything like that.
Hmm.
So as you'd expect, he's going to be asked about is the only one who gets the only access the media have to the club is Stephen Bradley.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, like yeah, I
I just mean
suppose
on a like
on
face to
a
face,
weekly
weekly basis
basis.
kind of
Yeah,
thing. I don't obviously, yeah, of course they can reach out to the club for comments on certain things,
they're not
and
guaranteed a response, I suppose.
yeah, exactly.
Well, at least if you're asking someone to their face, they tend to have come out with something.
Yeah, so that's what like the press release being released on Friday, the day of a Dublin derby, isn't ideal either.
No.
It created probably a little bit of unwanted noise. However, at the same time, look, I get they had to put something out because they knew
It would
Bradley,
go.
as he was essentially ambushed about these questions of
Yeah,
Michael Noonan,
basically.
and particularly he's playing as well. He's obviously
Yeah,
started in the Dublin derby defeat, and
which makes it probably just sit that bit more.
yeah, exactly. And then, like, look, everyone kind of wants to know. Everyone's with media, kind of people tend to want to get the scoop. Um, to be the one that breaks the story. The 42 they've seemed to get the leaked minutes of these meetings and stuff. How factual it is remains to be seen
Yeah,
because, as we've already said about findings and um in these investigations that are going to probably take place now with FIFA, um, and yeah, it seems like it's getting, or it already is, anyways, quite serious, quite fast.
yeah, it's escalated quickly even since we last spoke about it. Like, obviously, when we first spoke about it, it was Monday, and the story had only originally broken on Saturday. So there's been quite a bit of time for it to develop since today, and it seems to be escalating quite quickly.
Yeah, I suppose we'll look at the next bit of off field drama at this rate.
Uh,
More
yeah, it's like
noise.
Love Island.
So it's like Rovers off the field. It's like Love Island.
There's a new bombshell.
Do 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 do. Is of course Rovers league opener with Dundalk was postponed.
Yeah,
Initially scheduled to take place at 8 p.m. in Tallaght Stadium on the 6th of February.
opening night,
Opening night then refunded everyone of their ticket and it was rearranged for a Monday night, 23rd of February at the same
which has
time,
already
8 p.m.
happened, obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, of course we end up drawing that game 1-1. Just in case you haven't found out
just in
yet.
case you didn't watch the last episode. Oh, what a match!
Exactly, yeah. But no, like that, it's more off-field noise that just doesn't
Yeah,
seem like it's coming at a bad time. I think
yeah, it
for
feels
even
like everything's stacking up.
yeah, like this could be very minor and it could just be
Yeah,
concluded quite
it's
quickly.
it's just a strange one.
It's unusual.
Yeah, a complaint of. It's obviously the match. The official reason the match was postponed is because the pitch was not adequate due to being waterlogged. But then a complaint was received about the efforts to fulfil the match. And it wasn't Dundalk. They've confirmed they didn't lodge the complaint. So
So,
who was it? It was Michael Noonan's family again.
um, yeah, like what does seem strange to me is if it's not Dundalk that made the
Who
complaint,
did?
who did? And then
Why?
there was online speculation. People may have seen it that the Shamrock Rovers groundskeeper was made more efforts to waterlog the pitch in the lead up to the
He had a
Friday.
hose on the pitch.
That
He had a hose on the pitch.
was apparently that was the classic leaked WhatsApp message
Uh,
I saw on social media myself. Rovers don't have a groundskeeper. They don't own Tallaght
no.
Stadium, so they don't actually have their own groundskeeper. So they couldn't really like this. It's the South Dublin County Council
Which again,
groundskeeper.
like, why would the count? It just doesn't seem. It seems less likely then that would happen.
Yeah, that's
You could see
exactly
a
what I
team
mean.
perhaps doing it, but I don't think Rovers will be. You could see a team doing it. Like that's something you could see Mikel Arteta's Arsenal do or something. But Yeah, why would imagine that, like the council's paying someone to waterlog the pitch so it doesn't go ahead that week. Like, are the council that invested in Rovers?
As well as that, I think, um, like it didn't like Rovers didn't essentially benefit from this.
No, like they played the match still, and
And
they didn't win.
it got crammed into, yeah, it didn't
It
win.
got crammed in between two Dublin derbies.
It got crammed in between two
When
Dundalk derbies. They lost match day revenue because they definitely would have sold more tickets when it was initially the first home game of the
first
season.
home game
First
opening
game of the
night,
season. Yeah, first game of the
yeah,
season.
first game of the season opening weekend. There's a bit of buzz around it,
And they had to
and it's a Friday night, eight
yeah,
o'clock to a Monday.
a Monday where then it comes, as you've already said, comes between Pats and Bohs. Like, where do the club benefit from that?
They don't.
Like, maybe people are going to argue that, they weren't ready yet.
But they were ready to play the President's Cup the week before.
And then, and as well as that, is there an investigation then going into the two games that were postponed the following week? Talca Park and
Yeah,
Richmond Park. Rover's next game was postponed against Shelbourne.
yeah.
Pat's game was postponed the following Friday against Galway.
So who's complaining about them?
I'm going to
No.
put in a complaint now. But no, like that, it's strange.
How there's a dodgy ring of groundskeepers. They don't want any games going ahead.
Yeah, like from the Rovers' perspective, I think why would they want this game postponed? Like I don't think from a Rovers perspective, if it's a case of they thought they weren't ready yet or whatever the case, whatever maybe the argument is or what it is, like there's no to me there's no
No,
sense of it.
there's no reasoning that makes sense. There's no logical explanation, in my opinion, as to why Rovers would do this.
Exactly, yeah. Like the pitch, obviously, as we know, the pitch inspection took place at 11 o'clock in the morning that day,
Yeah,
11 a.m. But like at the same time, that was plenty of notice for everyone, really. In I can understand obviously from say players and management perspective that it's kind of like they're preparing for a game, they're doing everything that probably they would normally do in the lead up to these games, and then to be told on the day off. But it was likely the same effect for Shamrock Rovers.
yeah,
For fans, they had more than enough notice because unless you're leaving at 11 o'clock in the morning for a 1 hour drive,
yeah,
1.5 maybe hour drive to Tallaght Stadium.
yeah. It is about an hour and a half. Well, could be 3 hours some days.
Yeah, well,
uh, bad
the
memories.
the the lack of communication is one issue. There's allegation that Roberts didn't provide enough early warning that the pitch was in jeopardy.
But then what? Were they meant to cancel it on like Wednesday?
Um,
And then stuff about the team meals and stuff.
the Dundalk are seeking clarity and potentially compensation for how it was handled.
But they
Uh,
didn't raise the complaint, according to the club. So is another club are like suddenly like Waterford are concerned about whether or not the Dundalk players are getting fed,
like,
and they get their Supermax money back.
yeah, how many 22 snack boxes in refund?
They keep their receipts.
But no, like yeah, like look, as we've already said, obviously we're making light of the situation here, but like it doesn't
It's
really make.
unfortunate timing for this as well to come out with the Michael Noonan and stuff
Yeah, it's just
coming off a
not.
bad result.
Yeah, Dublin Derby defeat on the same day. The club released a statement regarding Michael Noonan. Then, for some reason, there's an inquest going into this game getting postponed. Then you have the online leaks of the groundskeeper trying to waterlog the pitch himself. Um, it's just it's not needed, and it's coming at a bad time where
It's just so the idea of a groundskeeper just doing it. It's just
like as well
he just has buckets. Oh no.
man versus pitch.
He's just doing knee slides on it to tear it up.
Testing
Yeah,
see how far he gets
yeah,
until he's like the ad where the bit the
yeah.
bet 365
He
or
just
something.
keeps sliding.
Yeah. But yeah, I suppose we'll park that. Move on to the football at hand. It does take place next week.
Yeah, Friday, Derry at home.
Friday night under the lights, Derry
Yeah,
City come to
which
Tallaght Stadium for the second time in 2026.
yeah, this time it actually matters though.
Yeah, well, they've already been and they beat Rovers 1-0 in the President's Cup.
Yep.
Um, yeah, what are we anticipating now? A bounce back needed now,
A bounce
surely.
back is needed, yeah. And I think a bounce back against a team like Derry would mean that bit extra too. Derry have started the season reasonably well. 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Obviously coming off a fairly dramatic win over Waterford there on Friday night.
2-0 down.
2-0 down, brought it back, scored in the 58th minute to make it 2-1. And 75th minute, Michael Duffy got his second. And then they would score in the 91st minute, an assist by Michael Duffy. Then he would get a penalty in the 94th. So 3 goals and an assist from Michael Duffy.
And now he comes to Tallaght Stadium in peak
Yeah,
form. That's what you want, isn't
4 goals in 4 games and an assist. Like, that's what you want, isn't it?
it? However, yeah, from the Rovers' perspective, not over like look. I think from the Rovers' perspective, you shouldn't really be worried about anyone coming up against this club. In that regard, because it's a team. Rovers are the holders of the league and the cup, double champions. Derry City we spoke about this before about their positive transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Albeit they did have a good transfer window, I don't think they've started as well as they would have liked.
Yeah.
As you've said, 4 games, 2 wins, one draw, 1 loss.
Yeah, they're still second in the table. I know it's
Second in the table after 4 games.
put that on the mantelpiece.
Rovers are 3 points off them with a game in hand.
Oh, so
No,
it's all to play for.
I'm not even looking at league tables at this
No.
stage of the season. Yeah, it's always kind of funny to look at when you could arguably finish the night say nearly top, or you could finish at nearly bottom.
Yeah, that's true.
Is always funny at the start of the season till you start to separate and to pull away a bit.
Yeah, kind of in and around. That's just be like in and around May and stuff is when you.
I think for Friday night, it's important that Rovers show exactly how they can bounce back,
Yeah,
because this will be how they get on for the rest of the season. Really, you know what I mean?
yeah, that's true.
How they're gonna deal with this, and obviously we'll touch on it briefly. That Talca Park awaits the Monday after, but like that now they're dealing with this Friday Monday for quite a bit, as we've
Yeah,
touched on, or as we spoke about before coming on to record here. It's a like that ties in with the Dundalk game
yeah,
being postponed. It doesn't benefit us.
yeah,
It's the thing that it's just more of a chocker block start to the season where you're not eased into it. You're playing Friday Monday, Friday Monday, Friday Monday.
yeah,
It's happening a lot, and yeah, Derry City aren't going to roll over in any way. They're going to be confident on the back of beating Waterford 4-2 in the manner that they did, and they'll also be confident seeing the Rovers hadn't got the start they wanted, and for the third reason they're going to be confident is that they've already beaten Stephen Bradley's side this year.
yeah. Once this year, obviously in the President's Cup, and yeah, I suppose Rovers need a bounce back. They need it this week. Not going to be an easy game, but a bounce back against a team like Derry is needed, especially like looking at if they weren't to win this week, it would be 4, possibly 5 points from 12. It's not, and we've mentioned in the past slow starts, all that, but like for example, last year, Rovers started the season with a 1-0 loss to Bohs, and then a draw with Shells, and then a loss to Sligo. Pats win. Like after 4 games last year, they only had 4 points as well. So, but and they obviously would go on to win the cup and the league. So you can only take so much from these early stages, but you just, from a fan perspective, you just don't want to be listening to Derry at home again after that Bows game. Need something to be up for, something to cheer about.
Yeah, exactly. The mood at the minute is quite low
Yeah, especially
in
with
and
the
around the
drama in
club.
and outside. A big win against a Royal, like a team like Derry, who ideally, from
League
Derry's
runners up last
perspective,
year.
they're going to be up in the what?
League runners up last year.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
going to be in the title race realistically. Getting a big win against a kind of title race team, another team in the race,
yeah, competitor.
would do a lot for silencing the noise outside as well, and also just getting the fans back and ready to go for the next while because there's a lot of games coming up as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's a busy schedule. I think as well as that, what all it just seems with football, it's always the case that positive results on the pitch tend to silence a little bit of the
Yeah,
off-field issues.
yeah,
Had Rovers, for example, beaten Dundalk and beaten Bohs, these issues what might not have been as loud as they are.
no, yeah, that's pretty very true.
Um, so once things go well on the pitch, it makes for easier off the pitch, and if this side can click into gear now, like look, as I said, it's only 3 games in. It's nowhere near detrimental stages at,
No,
all. But you don't want to get off. You don't want to be having. You don't want to have to make up ground. Essentially,
no,
whilst Rovers are good at doing that, whilst they've done it, they've showed they can on numerous occasions. The overall, of course, opinion is just you'd rather not. You'd rather
yeah, yeah,
you want to start on the front foot. You want to you lead the pack. Um, of course, Rovers fans won't be impatient at all about where they are in the table and stuff like that. We're not of that opinion that Rovers need to be in the top certain amount for after a few games.
no, but
Like at this moment in time, essentially, it's fine tuning these things, seeing what the issues are, and trying to
yeah,
fix them as quick as you can. And embedding the new signings that have come in as well. It's quick to kind of people can be maybe quick to forget or how quick they settle in as well impacts it. But like the likes of, for example, your Jake Mulroney's, your Sobowale's, his name was sung
sung
quite a
quite
bit.
often at Bohs, but
Yeah. The likes of these, we're obviously still waiting on Asamoah.
yeah,
Still serves a suspension. Uh,
it's still just weird that I know that he's serving the suspension even though he got sent off.
yeah, but he has to serve it in the
No,
league and cup, I think. Or mostly, I don't know. I remember there was an issue with that in the past, but yeah. So these new signs that come in, Derry are doing it as well. Their new signs are being embedded in and trying to settle them down, and it's the same issue for Rovers, or well, maybe not an issue, but depending how they go. I thought Mulroney, like as I said earlier, about I didn't think subs made too much of an impact on
no.
Friday. They didn't really. I did think Jake Mulroney was largely positive for what he did.
Yeah, when he came on, he was positive. Yeah,
Could have obviously look all of them could have done more. Everyone who took to the pitch, all 16 players really,
yeah,
5 subs
five
and the
subs
11 starting. Um,
could have been better, but
yeah, could have definitely been better, but yeah, Derry City on Friday offers a chance for Rovers to seal maybe a statement win, just to show kind of silence the critics, silence
yeah, silence
rival supporters a little bit, just to be
all
like
these people mouthing off like
it's saying we're not going away
yeah, like
anytime soon.
no. And again, with all the drama off the field, it's good to
Have
just a bit
one
of
element.
semblance, bit of structure together.
Yeah, particularly like exactly like um and like that. It's we're still waiting on Rory Gaffney to come back.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the injury. I know he continued to miss Bohs on Friday. I'm not sure if he'll miss Derry. I'm sure Stephen Bradley will do the briefing closer to the time. Um, but yeah, like that, still waiting on maybe a couple of names, Max Kovalevskis as well. But the squad, there's enough talent in there. There's enough
yeah,
depth
definitely.
that Rovers should still be putting positive results on the board,
Yeah, 100%.
and it'll be interesting to see how they get on against Derry. I think certain tweaks need to be made to play Derry and beat them,
Yeah,
and it's not going to be an easy game on Friday.
no, definitely not. And yeah, not gonna be an easy game, but it's just it's they just need if they show up like they did last Friday against Derry, you can expect another loss.
Yeah,
Like
if they showed up, yeah, if they show up like that, if they show up in
in any certain way, similar.
even to the
Like
Presidents Cup, maybe it's a bit more.
yeah, but
Uh, if they show up in that similar fashion, I think they'll be beaten. Derry are a team, as we've seen from last Friday, well capable of scoring numerous goals. Rovers, not so much. I know they
no.
bagged 2 against Bohs in the end, got 2 against Pats,
But
1
again,
against
we've
Dundalk.
mentioned
Yeah, as we've touched on, of do they get to 2 when Bohs, if Bohs aren't 3-0 up? Probably not. But like that done for Derry, they're a team that can score goals. Rovers never really, uh, never really put numerous goals past their opponents.
no, it's very rare you see Rovers banging in three or four.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just we are quite deflated from that loss the other
Still
day.
am. I thought I was
Yeah,
maybe getting there over it
this is two back-to-back quite somber episodes after the loss, after the draw in Dundalk, and recording that
right after.
about an hour after the game. It was quite a somber mood, and then doing it again
But then by the end of that episode, our moods lifted because
because
we have Bohs away on
we
Friday.
were buzzing for Bohs, but like
Just
it's
win, we said.
and then it's
They
dropped
just
again,
lost.
and obviously if Rovers beat Derry now on Friday, the mood will be back up, we'll be dancing. But
Yeah, and again, it's the double
that's
the double
football.
game week
Yeah,
essentially because obviously
shells.
Shells was postponed on
Yeah,
the Friday the 13th of February. um,
Jason Voorhees was destroying the pitch.
but yeah, so like that, then that's caused now for Rovers to play two games in such again, and as well as that, Rovers have actually had quite a tough start to the season. Like
Yeah,
Pat's tough. Dundalk, obviously, they're just up. Maybe on paper it should have been slightly easier. They end up drawing. Then
mm,
play Bohs. Now it's Derry. Then it's Shells. Then it's
yeah,
a trip to Sligo. It's like not easy, and they're coming thick and fast.
yeah.
Um, but I suppose we'll move it on to Shells, which we'll briefly touch on. Um, obviously, as I said, we won't have an episode in between Derry City and the Shelbourne game.
No,
Um, so it's quite a quick turnaround yet again, but yeah, we won't have an episode in between.
another double match week.
Another double match week, our
Keeps
favourite
they
now.
keep rolling.
Yeah, rolling with the punches.
You gotta roll with it.
But yeah, no, it adds, as we've said before, it adds on to like, you know, it makes no sense that Rovers would have wanted that game postponed because it crams these fixtures in. And
Yeah,
now,
and big fixtures as well.
yeah, like Dundalk was crammed in between Pats and Bows, and now Shell's been crammed in between Derry and a trip to Sligo.
Yeah,
You know,
it's tricky. It's not easy, but
um, yeah, look,
it's
it's
hard to talk about this without having seen the Derry game.
yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose.
I suppose it's just all we can really touch on now because, as you've said there, we haven't seen the Derry game. It's just a big picture, really. What
And
will
again, also not just that we haven't seen the Derry game, we're still going off such a limited number of games. Like if this was 28 games into the season, you could still somewhat kind of go, we're not
yeah,
after three.
no. Um, I suppose like the way I suppose we'll keep it maybe is what we want from the next two games. 3 points,
Yeah,
6 points, what's
6 points.
acceptable. You want, of course, we want six. Stephen Bradley will have wanted six. However, I don't see six
I
happening.
don't see six. I think four max.
Four wouldn't be too
No, I
bad
wouldn't.
either.
Wouldn't say no to four, but I think
Like,
I think anything if it's less than three, questions have to start being a bit. You can see a bit of scrutiny coming out then if it is less than three. If Rovers,
couple of draws maybe,
yeah, if it's two
two
draws, for
losses.
example, if it was two draws, for example, that wouldn't be great now, would it?
No, it wouldn't. I think maybe like look, Talca Park is a place where Rovers and Shells normally share the spoils.
Yeah,
We've seen that ourselves firsthand, of course, and uh, history just tells you that. And anyway, a quick look through their head-to-head form, you'll see how many times there's actually a draw between the two. It's not as much the case when they do meet at Tala. Mostly heads in Rovers' direction, but yeah, with Tolka, it's a tough place to go. We talked about when we previewed it when we thought it was going to go ahead.
yeah,
Um, and maybe listen back to that a bit more, I suppose, for our full extensive coverage of it, since we won't be there. We won't be able to have an episode in between the games.
no,
But yeah, like it's a tough place to go for the players. I think in terms of particularly because of how close they are to the pitch,
yeah. You're like
the
on the
fans.
pitch. Yeah,
Yeah. Um. So the fans, particularly, obviously more Shelbourne fans, and as well as that, they've opened their other stand as well behind the other goal,
yeah,
opposite to the away end. So they'll be getting more noise in that way as well, more fans in. So yeah, there's a couple of I suppose concerns there for Rovers at the current in this
yeah.
current climate. Rovers going there to get points because particularly after that Bohs defeat, it's hard to look at a positive here and say I think they'll go to Talcott and win. There's as I said, there is positives. Look, it's limited. There is certain positives, but um, it's hard to at this current climate, at this current time, to look at and say I can expect Rovers to go there and win.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's just hard to go off such little evidence. I know we've been like somber and sullen and not great after that Bohs game, but at the end of the day, it is only 3 games into a 36 game season, so there's a long way to go, and it's hard to base off. It's hard to talk about 2 games when we've only played 3.
Yeah,
But no, I do think though 6 points. If you had asked us maybe right after the Pats game, you'd be like, yeah, 6 points is doable. But after the 2 most recent games, I feel like 6 points is based on current form. I know, again, limited sample size, but you do think it's a tad bit optimistic.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's hard to disagree with anything you've said there, to be honest, and it's the way it is now. After I said limited sample size, only 3 games. Shells at the current time before heading into game week 5, I suppose. Shells are one of 2 teams that remain unbeaten.
Mm-hmm.
Is one thing. They've only played 3 games, of course.
Yeah.
1 win, 2 draws. They drew at home to Galway, which I suppose might be the concerning factor for Shelburne and their supporters.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game that you think on paper they should be winning. They drew at Waterford on the open night, and then obviously they most recently came back late on to beat Drogheda
Yeah.
2-1. So they're unbeaten, but they weren't convincing, and
No.
I think that Galway game may be a bit of a concern for them.
Yeah.
We've already said with Derry that essentially they're title contenders, so these games matter. The
Yeah.
extra importance placed on it.
Because it's not only you're losing points, they're gaining points.
Yeah, like 6 pointer
It's a
games.
6 pointer, yeah.
And it's essentially it's like realistically it's probably the same scenario with Shelburne. You'd
Yeah.
imagine they're going to be up there.
They're gonna want to be up there, yeah.
Yeah. Now of course look, there's also on an annual basis nearly you have that outside runner that might challenge
Yeah,
or get.
Waterford or somebody's just
uh,
decides this year they want to give it a try.
yeah. Like for example, like Bohs might be a team that could. I've already seen people be touting them for the title race, which I'm like, lads,
It's too early
it's a
for
little
that.
bit early for that. Carry on, but here,
Well, I don't want to listen to them in a title race.
no.
They'll be releasing a title race jersey.
Teaming up with maybe Max Verstappen. But yeah, it's one of them that I said it's tough to kind of get too much into it, having not seen, because of course both teams would have played another game before heading into that. But it's just one that it's important. It's another Dublin derby. It's another away
Another
Dublin
one.
derby. The third.
Yeah.
But it's like that. It's when you're going there, it's tougher as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you're going. And Tolka as well. As you mentioned, the closeness to the pitch, the kind of just how small that stadium is.
Yeah,
It's like the fans, especially even the away fans, are like right there on the pitch nearly.
yeah. It's quite, and it's because when you look at it
It's
from
very
the away
compact.
perspective, it's quite like not that as in not that steep, but like if you're looking over the barrier, it's like
Yeah,
it's right down, and
it's
the
right there.
goal line's like not
Probably
far.
about a foot away, foot 2 feet maybe.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, it's gonna be an important one, and look, out of 3, what will have been the third Dublin derby, Rovers have won, lost one. So
Mm. You're hoping that it'll be a positive record by that point.
yeah, exactly. You want to win more. Win more, particularly away. It means more, I think, as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that extra incentive
And
of
bouncing back from an away loss with an away win against another
yeah,
Dublin rival
yeah,
is exactly what you want.
yeah, exactly. And obviously, a lot hinges on how Friday will go in terms
Yeah.
of with Derry, if they're going to be if they're going into it with good form or if they're not. Shelburne having the Dublin derby of their own on Friday. They play St Pat's
Yeah.
at home
Yep.
in Tolka, so that's back to back Friday, Monday. Dublin derbies at home.
Again.
That could, like, for them, that could really be a confidence booster if they were to get 6 points from it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be targeting 6 points. They're at
Oh, they
home.
definitely
The
will be,
onus is
yeah.
on them. So yeah, this could really spark something for them, and that's not what you don't want to be that leading cause.
No, you don't want to be the team that's the catalyst for them to kind of start hitting form now.
Yeah, exactly. But on the football chat, I suppose we'll leave it.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah, somber. I suppose.
Somber, sad episode.
Of course, we have our weekly reminder, the club lotto. Adam, I'll let you take it away this week.
Yeah, obviously we mention it each week, but Club Lotto, do it while you can. Over 18s only, but yeah, the money goes straight back into the club. Helps develop the youth academies, helps develop the facilities, and yeah, it's a good cause. Really, it's going directly back into the club that you watch and follow most weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And this episode is going to be released on Monday, so of course the results will be out on the Monday. So make sure you do enter that. And I said the jackpot I think is over 3,000 now. 3,000, I think it's like 3,200, 3,600. It's increasing.
Not bad, Vince.
Um, yeah, I
Little
wouldn't
bun,
mind
yeah, little Bunsen burner.
it. But yeah, like that, all the money raised for that is going back into the club to help develop the academy, to help develop roads down, make these important improvements essentially. So make sure you do enter that. As I said, you don't have to be a member or a
No,
season ticket holder. You just have to be over 18. It's the only rule essentially.
yeah,
Other than that,
makes
enter
sense.
and give back to the club that you follow each week. And it's a good incentive as well that there is money on the line there and other
Yeah,
prizes and stuff.
it's money at the end of the day.
Exactly, money that me or you wouldn't say no to.
No,
Um, the other mention as well is that the Dublin 22 Supporters Club is organising a fun run for 2026, taking place in Corker Park on the 26th, Sunday the 26th, or 29th, sorry, of March. That's at half 11. €20, and the donations go to Oscar's Kids as well, which obviously is a fundraiser that is close to the club's heart. Of course, Stephen Bradley and Glenn Cronin both ran for it in the past. And yeah, like that, these are important initiatives that it's all in good faith, that it's
yeah,
going back to, like, for the run is going to that charity, and then you have, of course, the club lotto, which is going back into the club. So it's all in good faith that if you want to enter them, do.
yeah.
The more numbers, the more bodies, the better. More numbers for the lotto, more bodies at the run. Um,
It's all for the best, really, isn't it?
yeah, exactly, and it's getting out, and of course, as well as that, Stephen Bradley was taking his special guest taking part in it as
Yeah,
well. So was Glenn
it's
Cronin.
worth the admission fee itself. Then.
Glenn Cronin and Sean Cabinet as well. So yeah, make sure you do enter that, and yeah, that'll be a good day out in Corker Park, obviously in Clondalkin. But other than that, we'll leave it there
Yeah,
for episode 18. Another episode done.
another one.
Of course, not as positive as we wanted it to
No,
be on the
but,
back of losing 3-2 to Bohs.
but
We'll be back
we go
after.
again.
Yeah, we go again. Derry and Shelbourne next. And our next episode we'll record after the Shelbourne game at Talca Park, where we'll look at Derry, Shells, and then we'll look ahead to the trip to Sligo.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks.